just say your name and where you are from and what time it is there. It's kind of fun. All right, so we start with Umesh, Dr. Umesh Tiwari.
I am in Phoenix, Arizona, USA. It's almost 6 a.m.
Bonnie?
It's 9 o'clock here. I'm on the East Coast, USA, Washington, D.C. area, Southern Maryland specifically.
Melanie?
Yes, hi. I'm from Virginia, actually an hour west of Richmond. Those of you that are kind of in that area, in Farmville.
Hi, I'm Brock. I'm living near Washington, D.C. with my wife down the hall here, and I'm semi-retired. I'm about to launch a mindfulness blog.
We're in Perth, Western Australia, so it's 9 p.m. in the afternoon. So,
at night.
Yeah, in the evening. So, and we teach taekwondo classes.
Perth, Australia, Western Australia as well, 9 o'clock in the evening.
Jenny's a physician.
Hi, I'm in Malaysia. It's also 9:15 now. And this is Yuchen.
Hi.
Hi, I'm Dee. We live right outside of Washington, D.C. It's a little after 9 a.m. and I'm a practicing hypnotist. Nita.
Hi, everyone. I'm Kayla, and I am a hypnotherapist and energy healer, and I live in Miami, and it's 9 a.m. Good morning.
I am Virginia Wimmer. I am from Orinoco, Minnesota, and I run a software company, and I'm looking to be just a really good hypnotherapist eventually.
It's about 8. It's 8:07. Anyway, I am a clinical hypnotherapist, or just hypnotherapist, and just looking to improve my skills and expand my audience.
Okay, it is time. So I'm going to start the session in just a few seconds here. My husband, Steve, he didn't introduce himself. So he's techie guy. He takes care of all this other stuff so I can do my little magic stuff here. So this is a very new format for me. So I'm going to start with doing a little sound clearing. I tested it with Umesh a bit ago. The sound doesn't carry through as well as I like it. After a few seconds, would interpret the sound as noise and it filters it out. So just take a deep breath and go ahead and receive the blessing as the frequency comes through and cleanses your consciousness from any riff-raff energies as we prepare for this session.
Yeah.
Now this is a tiny little bowl, but I have used it to clear very big spaces. So in this case, size doesn't matter. I know I've seen singing bowl concerts where you have big bowls, and that's fine. I just am not a very large person. I don't carry big pieces of stuff around. So when I found this little thing here, I have about 3 or 4 bowls in the house, but this is just lovely because it just sits. How many of you are familiar with using singing bowls? Say yes, because I can see everybody on
Yes.
the
Yes.
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 Well, good.
Yes.
So we know that you have to have a space under the bowl. You can also hold it, and this way it connects with your energy. Notice the tone changes. It's very interesting. Sometimes I would put it in the palm of my hand as I hold the hand of my client after I sound it, of course, because I only have 2 hands, and let the energy connect. Is a wonderful little tool to have.
Would you ever put the bowl in somebody else's hand?
Pardon?
Would you ever put the bowl in the
Yes.
client's hand?
Yeah. Usually I put it in my hand first because I don't want her junk on my hand. I know that I have cleared my energy before I worked with the client. So when you meditate and you raise the chi within you, you are vibrating at a higher frequency. Your idea is you want to raise the energy. You want to raise the frequency of the vibrational energy of your client. So you want to ground yourself first before you work, because, you know, like water, it flows to the lowest level. It's easier for you to just slip into your client's frequency than to bring your client up to your frequency. Simple physics, right? Okay. I will have a time for you to ask questions. So to make this flow efficiently, I'm just going to do a little bit of teaching, and then I'm going to put everybody in a meditative trance, and then I'll open it to questions, comments, discussions. How I do these sessions is I do not have a script. I don't even have a 3x5 card as to what I want to do. But when I put a title to it, I do a little meditation as to what is a suitable thing to share. This is something I hope to do more frequently, to share this work. Now, I do teach formal classes, and students are signed up to come and do formal training, and which is supposed to start next month, but it is going to start next month virtually because we can't physically meet at this time. And so I want also to be able to do this and do it as a gift. So if you or your friends down the road would like to continue to receive this little bits of healing, and also to see some of the work I do, please send me an email, and then I'll put you on an opt-in list, because I don't like to just blast people. I hate when I have massive emails coming down to me, and I don't have time to sort. So do it only if you like this and would like to be included in the list. All right. Now, the title of this is How to Stay Calm in the State of Crisis. The word crisis, translated in Chinese, is 危机. There are two characters, and I don't have the writing to show you, just trust me, there are two characters. And it means, and my Chinese friend would attest to that, right? 危机 means danger and opportunity. So when we are at the juncture of looking at being in a dangerous situation, you either, that really in every choice we make, there are only two options, right? It's a yes or it's a no. So Chinese people have done binary long before Bernoulli figured it out, right? Bernoulli merely copied it. So it's a yes or a no, it's a 1 or a 0, it's a plus or a minus, you do it or you don't do it. To be or not to be, and Shakespeare took that too. Right? So when we're looking at an option, what makes it a crisis is that the stakes are high, right? You're at a point of decision. The higher the stakes, the more dangerous it can be, right? If I look at, do I buy the black shoes? Do I buy the white shoes? What's the worst that could happen to me, right? 50 bucks. What's the worst that could happen to me? 50 bucks. But if you are currently in the ER and somebody shows up and you only have one ventilator and you have 5 people needing to be ventilated, and then we have several doctors in this group today, how are you going to make that choice, right? You're playing God. One person gets to live, the other 4 will have to take their chances. It's very interesting. When I was in grad school, we have done many ethical exercises like that. How are you going to make a choice like that? Who gets to play God? And if you don't make the right choice, people die. That makes it a crisis. So we have, for example, an exercise where we are, how many of you seen the movie Titanic? If you haven't, go see it. At some point, the captain has to put some people on the lifeboat and some people remain on the ship and sink with it, right? So his ethical thing is very simple. The captain always goes down with the ship. For himself, he's made that ethical choice. But what about, I have lifeboats to put 100 people in it. I have to make a choice. Is it going to be based on the moral choice of putting the weakest people in the boat? Because if you put all the weakest people in the boat, what are their chances of survival in the lifeboats? Or do you want to put the strongest people in the boat who has the highest likelihood of surviving? Crisis, 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 right? And I'm giving you drastic examples because if push come to shove, the notion of crisis is because you have to make a critical decision given a very small amount of time. You have no time to come up with an algorithm that you can live with. True or not? Yeah? And if you nod your head, I can see some people nodding, right? So we don't think about crisis on a day-to-day basis, but crisis happens to us on a day-to-day basis. And I know when you're driving the car, you're making a lot of critical decisions split second. And that split second can determine whether somebody lives or somebody dies. So it's an opportunity at that juncture when you're flipping the switch on or off to do or not to do. Do I swerve or do I hit the tree? So a long time ago when I was new to America and I live in the country, every week or so, you know, when the weather warms up, somebody is going to hit some deer or some animal or things going down the country road. And oftentimes people swerve to avoid killing that squirrel or that animal that runs in your path. And instead they hit a tree and die. So I decided then, it's a horrible thing. I conditioned my mind. If I see an animal in my path, I'm going to run over it. Because I have 2 young children I have to care for. So I made that choice before I get behind the wheel. If an animal comes in my way, unless it's a deer and it's going to eat me, you know, and my car, if it's smaller than me, I'm going to run over it. It just sounds so horrible, right? But that is a critical situation. If you don't train yourself to do it, you have no time to consider in that very split second. So who is more important in your life, that animal that got in your way or the 2 children who will be without a mother? So right now we are facing a crisis that is everywhere. And it is evident that we are slow in responding. Even from the very get-go, I said to people, why would you need to spend so much energy to see whether you get a test or not? So what if you got a test? The easiest and cheapest way to stay safe is assume that everyone is infected. In the early 90s, I was a young professor of health at Sam Houston State University, and I taught the very first course, 3-semester-hour course on the study of AIDS. And most people think that very little was known about the virus then, so you can sort of draw a parallel. You know, we didn't know a whole lot about the coronavirus, but then we also know a lot about the coronavirus. We know what it looks like. We know how it's transmitted. Those are 2 very critical pieces of information. It's a lot easier than our soldiers fighting in the jungle with guerrilla warfare. You don't know when you're going to step on a landmine. Crisis is crisis no matter how you see it, right? So I had even back a couple months ago advocated, please practice what I call universal precaution. Meaning that you assume it is here because you don't know if it is or it isn't. You assume the worst, you prepare for the worst, and you default to, so I don't need this, but I've got this, right? So universal precaution. So for me, it's just like preparing back then. Sounds horrible, right? I have 2 young children at home. I'm behind the wheel. If a squirrel runs in front of me, I'm going to run over it. And I have to condition myself. It's against human nature. Because the moment I hesitate, my children will be without a mother, and a dead mother is quite useless. I made that choice a long time ago. And there are many things that we do. We have to, I used to teach a course in ethics, and we go through this whole algorithm on what do you base a critical decision and how will you live with that? All those things are what I call crisis. So crisis is at a critical moment, you have more problems to solve than you have time to consider, and the stakes are high. When the stakes are high, whether it's financial, material, moral, emotional, spiritual, except that all these factors come boom, all at the same time. And how many of you have ever been bitten by an elephant? No, right? How many of you have been bitten by a dog? A few hands would go up. How many people have been stung by a bee? More hands would go up. How many of you have been stung by a mosquito? I'll show you, all hands will go up, right? 1 mosquito bite, it's not an issue. 2 or 3 is not an issue, but 1,000 mosquitoes descending on you at one point, the stakes are high. So I have just deconstructed for you the word crisis. Crisis is when you have to make a critical decision in a very small amount of time and you have no time to consider. So how do you know? How do you prepare for emergencies? How do you consider what to do and how to live with it? So the mechanical piece I want to share with you this morning is the little blobs of crisis that surround you. And I want you to learn, if you don't know already, how to stay in the moment. I call it T with a subscript 0, being now. T with a subscript in math and minus N at the bottom is time ago. T with a positive N in front is time ahead. So I taught a class once called the T0 class, and my students make T0 t-shirts, right? Here's your T0 shirt. And today I want to sort of share with you this idea of T0. Because no matter how many mosquitoes descend upon you at a given time, really when you have to make a choice to deal with each problem, is only one problem at a time. You see, all this idea of multitasking is overrated. If you deal with one moment at a time and you attend to it, it becomes more workable. In England, when I went to school, they have a term called the attending physician in the hospital. What does the word attending mean? It means that when the physician is taking care of you at the time, T0 time is this moment when I'm interacting with you. I'm all there for you. T0, 100% for you. So you deal with one at a time. And I was most impressed with the customer service in shops in England. You stand in line, customer service, they attend to one customer at a time, the person in front of you, so that you don't mind standing in the queue, because when they serve you, right? Unlike one time I was standing in customer service in Walmart, I waited a good 10 minutes for my turn. When it was my turn, the person talking to me, a colleague, is asking for help. And she stops to talk to this person here. And then she stopped to talk to somebody else wanting a question. And somebody in the back of the line has a question. Of course they have a question. So finally I said, stop. I told the lady, I said, you've got to stop. And she was quite surprised. She said, what? I said, my English is not very good. Right behind you, there are 2 words. It says customer service. As far as I know, I'm the customer standing in front of me and you are the service. So which part of that don't you understand? Take care of my problem now. I've been waiting very patiently for the last 10 minutes for my turn. You can do your training of your colleagues later, not on my time. The line behind me almost applauded. Now it's simple, isn't it? So one of the first things we want to do is know what the crisis is and know how to stay in T0 time. Okay, which comes to the next thing, why so much anxiety everywhere? And I draw my anatomy of anxiety in the form of dark clouds. So in life, everything that motivates us to do one thing or another comes from the energy of emotion. Emotion means energy in motion, right? So if we feel good in one form or another, it has to come from a place of love, right? Whether you're happy, you're excited, nobody is scared that Santa is coming to town, right? I'm excited, Santa Claus is coming to town. Tomorrow, Easter Bunny is going to show up with all the chocolates, right? Has to come from a place of love. All the feelings that you feel that don't feel good has to come from a place of the big 4-letter F word, fear. All right, so I draw the fear in little clouds, dark clouds. So if you're angry, is that love or fear? It's fear. Anger is fear. Anger is like one little row of dark clouds. And you don't know where it is floating in your consciousness. And then suddenly somebody walks in and you have that last straw and he stepped in it. And you bite, right? Where did it come from? It's inside you. So you're afraid of something. And as the fear accumulates, more and more fear, I call it anxiety. My definition of anxiety is that you feel like you're walking on eggshells half the times, ants crawling up your legs all the time, and it doesn't feel good. You get antsy-pantsy, right? Ants in your pants. And it doesn't feel good because you have more and more fear. I call that anxiety. And people who collect a lot of fear, so much fear that there are more days in the week than not, you feel like you're walking on eggshells. I call it depression. And depression is a continuum. You can be in a place where you totally want to just pull a blanket over your head and you don't want to get out of bed. I don't want to engage, despondency. Or at the other end, you are very hyper. I've once known someone who took 3 jobs, 3 shifts in hospitals because she doesn't want to be alone. Right? And so many times at the other end, it seems so legitimate. I'm so busy, I'm so busy. You know how many people would say, I'm so busy, I'm so important, right? Ah, thank you. See, marvelous. So we got a picture. That's depression. Now, if you look at the clouds, right? There are gaps. Look at this, the third section there with depression. There are days, it's not every day that's dark. Even when you're depressed, there are moments where the sun shines through the dark clouds. So that's the depression. However, if you collect even more, that's the 1,000 mosquitoes, right? More and more and more mosquitoes bite you. You get to a point where no light comes through. It's all dark every day. And that's what I call despair. And when a person is so scared, they do very bad things. These are things that happen to people who would go to a busy place and shoot randomly and take lives that they don't even know who these people are. Because when something like that happens, like when Columbine happened, when somebody went to a public school and opened fire and killed a lot of innocent people, it's a really sad day for all of us as society, because nobody should be so scared and be so alone that the only way to relieve that pain inside is to go take other lives and their own. So that is that picture that I put in a little simple box, that fear is the only energy that drives us to make bad choices. We can't make good decisions if we're scared. So this whole business of the work we do in energy medicine and hypnotherapy is to not be scared. Sometimes people call me the fear buster, right? But knowing that everything that moves us in the choices we make is based on emotion, we have to understand the energy that drives us. Let's say, for example, if you're angry, or if someone is very mad at you, right? They'll do this. Look where my finger is pointing. This. Okay, one finger is pointing at you, 3 fingers is pointing at me, right? But I don't want to look at the 3 fingers. Yeah? See my hand? This, you, that. Usually blame happens if there's an individual involved. I recently read John Kabat-Zinn's book on mindfulness, and he told a story about, here you are sitting in a boat in the ocean, right? An empty boat floated around and crashed into you. Are you going to be mad at the boat? No, not really, right? The boat crashed into me. However, if I've been sitting in the boat and me and my boat crash into you, you're going to be mad at the person in the boat because I'm a person, right? And it's so easy to blame somebody else. So when that happens, the crisis escalates because now you're not taking responsibility for your own actions, and you're not, if it's somebody else who made you feel bad, you have no power to make yourself feel good. It's all her fault, it's all his fault, right? If only, how many times we've seen couples come in, if only my husband would do this A, B, C, D, my life would be perfect. If only he'd take the garbage out when I tell him to take the garbage out. You know, he says yes, but he means next life he'll take the garbage out. I'm exaggerating. And I wanted the garbage out yesterday, right? So it doesn't work. So come back to this. No matter how many little challenges, if we don't stay in the moment, we can't solve the problems from a perspective other than fear. So for me, the definition of worry is to invest a lot of emotional energy expecting a negative outcome. Nobody worries about Santa Claus coming to town. Why? Because we've been taught Santa Claus only brings good things and presents, right? But we are all worried what the coronavirus is going to do to us. Because now we have someone to blame, right? We're blaming an item that doesn't even have emotions, right? A virus is not even a bacteria, it's not even a living organism, it's a particle. My gosh, how much more do we want to blame? It's very interesting, if you look at the current crisis, it has to take a tiny particle for us to wash our hands properly. You know, as a health educator, I have my students doing projects, how to teach people how to wash their hands properly. Wow, it took the coronavirus, a tiny particle that we can't even see in our with our eyes. We used to go into classrooms and rub Vaseline on your hands and put cinnamon and dust it on your hands so you can see all the particles. And I said, now go wash your hands and don't come back until I can't see any of the cinnamon on your hand. Then they'll come back and they'll tell me how long it takes for them to wash that Vaseline out. Can't do it very well with cold water. Can't do it very well with just splash, splash, splash. So a little soap and good warm water and sing happy birthday to yourself twice. And it's done. Wow. In this lifetime, I think if I had my students from the university here today, it would be very interesting to say, oh my God, it's finally happening. People are finally washing their hands. 50 years from now, I wonder what our children's children will look back and see, oh my God, they don't even know how to wash their hands. But just look back 100, 150 years ago when surgeons did not wash their hands when they cut into you. So we had all those opportunities to learn because we had a crisis. So what I want to do is for us to think about if everything within us is governed by energy, the chi, energy cannot be created nor destroyed. We can only transmute the energy, which is really the good news. Energy is energy. You can choose to invest it in this or invest it in that. You can choose to be happy or not happy, because we have to look at the situation and make a choice. For me, what has worked well for me in most circumstances, my life is not perfect. My children have tattoos. I tell people that. But if you start with your own basis of choice, right, then no matter how dire the situation is, today I'm going to make a choice to take the positive road, no matter how bad things can get. And one little flip of the energy at a time, we will get enough critical mass of positive energies that will turn things around. And we're going to start with ourselves, right? How many times we go, oh my gosh, you know, if you are going to a job interview and you're wearing a perfectly white shirt and you go, oh my gosh, I'm going to spill coffee on me. I promise you, you will spill coffee on you. Right? If you're driving from here to the city and you say, oh my gosh, I'm going to be late. I'm going to meet every red light along the way. I promise you, you will meet every red light along the way. I know this how I've been living this way and using this method for a very long time. And like I say, I am not perfect, but for more than 80% of the time, I stay in the positive and I have received nothing but positive results. It works. Like our Qigong master used to tell us, you believe it, it works. You don't believe it, it still works, because energy is energy. So I want you to do quickly a little experiment that I learned from one of my teachers. Put both your hands together as much as you can to have your hands face each other and touch, right? Now take a good look and see if one hand has fingers longer than the other, right? Are they exactly equal, or is one hand longer than the other? Establish that for yourself. I don't need to know, okay? Now we're going to do a little experiment. We're going to make the fingers grow longer. So establish if the hand has the finger that is longer. You can choose that hand or choose the other hand. And now we're going to close our eyes and we're going to tell one hand to grow longer fingers than the others. And we're going to rub. All right. So if you say left hand fingers grow longer, left hand fingers grow longer, longer, stop. Now put your hands together and tell me if the hand whose fingers you want to grow longer actually did grow longer. Yes?
Mhm.
Okay, if you didn't, you have to practice more. Okay, so now if you did that, you look at your hands and you say, well, go back to the original size, right? Rub, close your eyes, pay attention, rub, tell the other hand to go back to its original size, rub, 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 rub. Feel warm in your hands because you are directing your body to change. And tell me if it went back to the original size. If you have a yes, say yes, so I can hear you. I can't see everybody.
Yes.
Yes?
Yes.
So some people got it, some people haven't got it yet. It's okay. If you haven't got it yet, practice, practice, practice. And if you've got it, congratulations, because you have just learned how to direct your body to be exactly the way you want it. Small little experiment. Now it's difficult for me to douse you out here. I don't have a subject to douse, but those of you who've seen me doing dowsing, you know what I'm talking about. If you feel different, you feel an inner change, you know that you're directing your body to change. Okay? So the short end of this little chat today is to tell you that we have control of how we feel. We have control of how our bodies will feel. We can help our bodies heal. We can help. So it starts with this before we can help somebody else. We have to first get our own poop in a group, right? So with that little exercise, and I just summarize, we know that how we feel is determined by the chi in our consciousness. And there are only two base emotions. The positive side is love. The negative side is fear, because we can't see light unless we have darkness. There's always a balance within us. But we don't want to overwhelm our consciousness and live in fear all the time. To live in fear is to be frozen in crisis. When 1,000 mosquitoes show up and you're stuck. To not make a choice is also making a choice. Now that's very important. To walk away and say, I don't think this is going to happen to me. I'm going to go out and not observe all these health recommendations. It's not going to happen to me. That too is a choice. And that would be a very irresponsible choice because you put other people's lives at stake that you're not even aware of. So we want to focus within ourselves, because right now all we have to play with is our own chi and our own consciousness. So how do we stay calm in the midst of a crisis? The first thing to do is to just be still. Step one, to just be still. But don't be still forever. Don't stay frozen forever. To stay calm doesn't mean to stay frozen. Because if everybody is barking at you, you can't hear a thing. So what do you tell people to do? Stop it. Stop. That's a word that most people don't know how to use. If somebody's abusing you, you say, stop it. Knowing that, we want to go inside ourselves to stop for a moment, okay? So everybody sit back. I'm going to show you a very quick way to calm yourself. All right, sit back. Let's say, you know, all this craziness is going on everywhere. We sit back, focus on something directly across you. I know most people want to just close your eyes. It takes more effort to keep your eyes open and be aware. Just look at an item across from you. Now I'm going to count, and I want to count to 10 for you to slowly take a breath through your nose. A count to 10 is a very long count to inhale. It takes effort. And don't worry if you don't make 10. My goal is to get to 10, right? 1, 2, 3, 4 is very easy, but 10 requires effort. So now ready? And then as we exhale, you exhale through your mouth, and you also, and I'm also going to count to 10 because it takes effort. Eyes open, focus on something across the room from you. Ready now, inhale. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Fill your lungs. 7, 8, 9, 10. Well done. Now exhale. 10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. How many of you make 10 counts? Say yes, because I can see your
Yes.
hand.
Yes.
Okay, some of
Yeah.
you do, and some may need a little practice. So we do it one more time, and you have to stay focused. Keep your eyes open. Inhale, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, and 1. How many of you make 10 and 10? Keep practicing. We're going to do the third one this time. Do it at your leisure. Do your best to do 10 and eyes open. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. Exhale, 10. This time you can close your eyes. 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. And breathe normally. With your eyes closed. Breathing in and filling your lungs with all the oxygen in the room. And breathing out. Easily and naturally as your body requires it. Breathe in and out. Breathe in and out. And you feel more and more relaxed. More and more relaxed. And I want you to continue breathing easily, naturally, and normally. With every breath you take, breathe in all the love in the universe that you require. And as you exhale, let go of your fears. In and out. In and out. And notice how good it feels. Just being aware of your breath. There is nothing else to do. Clearing your mind. Clearing your body from all the bits of fear that you've collected. You have no use for them. Breathe in and out. Imagine a ray of light coming from above and just showering you with love of divine energy, and let your body absorb all the love you need and feel this light come through your body, flushing out all your fears. Breathe in and out. And let these fears come out through the pores of your skin. And some of you might even be able to imagine these fears coming out in the form of smoke. Breathe in and out. Feel your body relaxing. Relaxing as the love infuses your consciousness. And all is calm. And all is well. And imagine yourself attending every challenge, no matter how many. You just take it one at a time. Is it a yes? Is it a no? And imagine yourself turning on and off these switches with confidence and with love. Every time you want to say, do I do this? Do I not do this? Ask the question, is this choice based on fear or based on love? Better choices are made from the position of love. Just breathe in and out. And now put a smile on your face as more and more and more love come into your consciousness, and you feel more and more calm, more and more calm. And now imagine your entire body being filled with this light. Breathe in and out. And knowing that you have more love than your body can contain, it's time to share it. Breathe in more love. And this time, there's no more fear to exhale. Just breathe out more love. Fill this room you're in with love, blessing every sentient being in that space with love. Whoever comes in that space will feel the love. Now fill your house with it and expand this love outside of your home, into your community, sending it to all the people you know and all the people you don't even know who need some love and healing today. Breathe in and out, expanding it into your community and your state and your country. Breathe in and out and expanding it across the oceans. For we are all the same, we bleed the same, we feel love, we feel fear. We are all one community. I'll send this love and send the vibrations throughout the world. Breathe in and out. And as I'm going to chant, you can just keep on breathing or chant with me. Om Mani Padme Hum. 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 Those were the 6 perfect sounds chanted 9 times. As you feel the vibrations, we will raise the energy consciousness of your bodies and all the people you have blessed. A vibration high enough to withstand the coronavirus and all other things that we don't require. And we will overcome this because we are changing the vibrational signature of our bodies, and these virus particles will not find this vibration conducive to their survival. I'm going to say one last Om, and I'd like you to join me as we set our consciousness to a higher frequency to be healthy, safe, and happy. Ready now? And now pay attention to all parts of your body. You know that you've tuned your body to stay healthy. You know you have tuned your body to stay calm. And you know that you are always sitting in an energy of love. Say yes.
Yes. Yes.
And slowly, gently open your eyes, feeling wonderfully loving. Okay, I'm going to open it to questions. Anybody has questions or wanting to share?
Yes, with the 10 breaths that we do, is the purpose of 10, does that help an individual get into a relaxed state faster because of the focus?
Did it help you?
A little.
Okay. So it's either a yes or a no, right? We're still in the binary. Did it help you?
Okay, yes, yes. But I can also get there with 4 breaths though.
Well, it takes practice. For most people, 4 breaths is not enough.
Okay, thank
And
you.
if you can do it in 4, the next 6 breaths will get you into a deeper state of calm.
Okay.
Okay.
All right, thank you.
Okay, if you want to ask a
I
question.
got something, Kweethai. This is Virginia.
Okay, Virginia.
Yeah, I really like how the chanting kind of bypasses my mind, because even though I've been chanting for years, when I first start chanting, my mind still says this isn't going to work, and then about 30 seconds later, it works. So it's just funny. I don't know.
So, very good. On the 3rd sound you're in. Very good.
Well, I have another question. This is Bonnie.
Hi, Bonnie.
So back to the bowls. I noticed that yours is a metal bowl. How do you feel about the crystal bowls, other than that they're heavier?
Whatever works for you.
Okay.
You see, we go to the 5 elements is có một水火土. So the crystal bowl is earth.
Okay.
Silicone. Right? So this is metal. You can use whatever works for you. It's the sound that matters.
Okay.
It's the vibrational signature of the sound. So a lot of times when I work with clients, when they've gone through a transformative healing, I make them go back into trance and capture that sound. And now those of you who have my video case studies, if you go back to Anthony, the case in Las Vegas, I don't have it to pull it up to show you. He sounded different. Those of you who've seen the Courtney case, that on the very last session, she sang when in the beginning of the 3 days, she could barely articulate a phrase in the song. When she got to the end, because her chakras were clear, she was able to do that. Now, last night we watched this strange documentary movie type thing about this guy who went back to Hawaii to find his roots, because he was a saxophone player, and he was horrible. I keep saying, oh, it sounds like a dead cat. It was horrible, but the journey, of him finding his roots, his grandparents, and when finally he was able to get in touch with his spiritual self, he played the saxophone. He made music. So it was his musical journey. But if you think about it, all our energies have a vibrational signature. Right? You can try yourself. Right? Start by recording yourself on your phone. Sing something. Then go into a meditative trance and just sit quiet for 30 minutes or 10 or 5 or whatever it takes. Put a timer on it and just be quiet. One of my quickest stay calm meditation is to imagine yourself painting a black box. Many people, we are so left brain, we have to go step by step and have a method. Just close your eyes. Imagine I give you a paintbrush and you want to paint this square or rectangle, right? Black. Then I'm going to get this side. I'm going to get this corner. I'm going to paint the other corner, and I'm going to go along the side of paint. And you will discover. Now, I did this long time ago when I read the book, The Third Eye by Lobsang Rampa. He's a Tibetan Lama. I was about 13 years old at the time, and I thought it was really a very cool exercise, because when I got into painting this black box, all of a sudden, when that very last piece went black, I felt myself being transported to a different realm. I felt like I just went deep inside, and then I was elevated. My consciousness left my body. I was above looking at my body. Try it. It's fun, and let me know when you get it. And it's really that simple. Paint that black box of emptiness. So if you are studying meditation from a Buddhist perspective, very simply, the Buddhists will say there are three things you want to do in meditation. One is to be aware, right? So you are aware of your breath. I made you very aware of your breath. You have to count it. How can you not be aware? You have to count it, right? That is actually a practice of awareness, right? Now, the next step is to witness your breath. I will go to that next time. And then to appreciate your breath. Now, those of you who studied with Master Lin, this might remind you of something. Maybe, maybe not. I've had so many Qigong masters, right? So as you practice more, first to get inside, to be still and get in relationship with yourself. And the most important part of our energy is our breath. So you pay attention to your breath, and you are actually, if you haven't done it before, you're actually saying hello to yourself, right? You're breathing. Hi, Kweethai. Hi. It's been a while, right? If it's been a while, you really want to say hello to yourself. And you're aware, I see you. I feel you. I'm right here for you. Not talking about other people, not thinking about what I'm going to eat. Just shut down all the monkey business. I'm here. You see, I'm aligned. You're basically doing this greeting, right? Namaste. I greet you with my body. I greet you with my soul. And I'm paying attention to you. So that is the self-awareness. Take a lot of time to just enjoy that. And being even in this moment, the more you practice, especially those of you who are physicians who have to make a lot of physical, critical decisions. Every moment at work is a crisis for you. You have to learn and practice to be able to do it in just snap of a finger. The more you practice, the easier it becomes. So you can just, oh my gosh, it's all this craziness, the ER, the sirens, everything's going off, and people coming in more than you can handle. So your space is your own. If you practice often enough, you don't even need to close your eyes. I can stand here and zoom up for a second. It's like, take a moment and say, Kweethai, everything's going to be all right because I'm here with you. I'm one with you. Take a deep breath. And give yourself a virtual hug. You can surround yourself with white light before you go into the battleground. We all have our own, we're all warriors in our own battlegrounds, whether it's domestic, military, or in the hospital. We all have our own little battlegrounds every day. So you stay calm. And then if it's a very difficult choice, you also take a moment. Is the choice I'm about to take grounded in love? Love for me, very important. It begins at home. You don't love yourself, everything is moot, right? Love for me and love for the people I am attending. And I mean attending, meaning full attention. Okay, so that piece. Are there questions? Other questions? Is this helpful?
Yes.
Yes.
Thank you very much.
Great. I
Yes,
hope you
thank you.
join me again, and we'll have another one next Saturday. I'm getting a lot of practice with the Zoom thing, and I hope you're all staying well. If you'd like to be included in the next one, please send me an email, right? And the friends who've invited you will have my email, or you can find Dr. Kweethai on Google and send me an email through my website, and we'd like to do more. And thank you for joining in.
Thank
Be
you.
safe,
Thank you,
be
Dr.
well.
Kweethai.
Thank
Be
you.
safe,
Thank
be
you.
well.
Thank you, Dr. Kweethai.
Thank you.
Thank you. Bye.
Bye.